Hello. I am doing a mock-up of the Sunseeker spell. That way y'all have it in your grimoires or whatever, or not. Some of y'all might have your own weather magic that you do. But for those that don't and need an idea, if you're planning a trip and it's hurricane season, or if you're in the tornado alley, you know, just move it out of the way if you're doing something. But we tend to always plan our trips in the harder hurricane season, and they're almost always on the beach. So sometimes you need a little zhuzh. That way you can enjoy your weekend or week. So that's where this comes into play. I will say you only need a few things, but you need a week, like, or more. I mean, we do this 7 days in advance if there's a storm system on the coast and we're trying to go to Savannah or anything like that. Mainly it's been for Savannah. But this is what we'll do in preparation. Like because we plan these things sometimes months in advance, and then we check the weather, and as come, you know, time gets closer, we're like, oh, of course there's a storm system on the coast wreaking havoc and potentially going to be X, Y, or Z. So we'll start doing this, and we've been successful the last couple times we've used it. So we're putting it out there for y'all to use in case you need it, or hopefully you might not need it. Who knows? I have our grimoire here, but I did not put the English translation to the Latin incantation, so I had to pull out my Latin book because, you know, we're complicated over here. So what you're gonna need is a yellow or orange candle. I would recommend a 7-day candle just because of the duration of time you have to do it. But for the sake of this, I have a spell candle in yellow. But I would definitely I have always done a yellow 7-day candle in the glass jar, you know, and they're inexpensive and you can find them all over the place most of the time. You'll need your anointing oil, which we use witch's oil, a cauldron to burn the incantation in at the end, flammable liquid or flammable substance, that way it burns properly, although paper burns pretty good, but who doesn't like a little extra fire? And then you'll need a pendulum, which I know a lot of us have crystal type pendulums. I would recommend, unless you're not clumsy like I am, like a brass or metal type pendulum. And then of course a piece of paper, parchment, scrap, whatever you are pulled to use. And then time. So what we would do is every day after work we would do this, let it burn for an hour or more depending, and then put it out, and then, you know, we would repeat the pattern for the 7 days. So you've got your incantation, which I'll give you the Latin and then I'll give you the English if you want to write it down. So it's Ego incanto tempestas ad noster voluntas, which translates to I enchant the weather to our will. Our being me or whoever you're working with. It's normally me and somebody else. Kevin, obviously, because this is our channel. So I've got everything written down here. You're gonna have to you know, this is a spell, so cleanse your space, get your head right, do what you gotta do to get in the right mind frame, and get all that stuff, get all your prep items, grab your paper, your pen, your cauldron, whatever flammable stuff you're gonna use. I like to use herbs, so this is just calendula and lavender. You don't have to do that. It doesn't really call for it. I put a blurb in here about, like, if you feel called to use herbs, then use herbs. And my witch's oil is in this, and it's kind of like, I don't want to douse it, so I'm going to use one of these things to, like, get it out, and then you have your pendulum. So now We're gonna prep our candle, anoint your candle with witch's oil. If I can get it open. And this is my burn plate. This is a handmade fire kilned plate, so I know it's good. This is just a little Corelle plate that I'm gonna use for anointing this. Come on. Come on, come on. There we go. You don't need a lot. I mean, unless you're using a big old candle. But you want to anoint your candle real good. And it gets all the little bits from the bottom of the thing. So it's got like double anointment going on. I'm gonna put that in there for now. I'm gonna roly. I might have to get up and get a cough drop because I'm still not over coughing every 5 minutes. I talk too much, which is why I've put this video off for so long. This was not a big enough plate to do this, but you get the idea. You're just trying to give a little zhuzh to your candle and make it pretty. Who doesn't like a pretty candle? Anoint that tip. Now, you can add any variation to this that you want. So if you want to add blood, if you want to do whatever, like, that's totally up to you. And we stop so I can clean my hands. So next, we've got everything prepped. Everything's ready to go. You've got your incantation. You've got your candle enchanted and dressed, should you choose to do that. You've got this ready to go with whatever flammable liquid. Got your pendulum. So what you're going to do is you're going to light your candle, say your incantation, Ego, Canto, Tempetus ad Luster Voluntas. We're going to light our cauldron. And you're going to take your pendulum. Again, this is why I say metal. Because you're going to do this until the fire goes out every day. And it takes a while some days, depending on how much oomph you gave to that fire. And you're going to say it until this goes out. You're going to swing it clockwise. That's very important. Clockwise until this goes out. And then on your final day, like you've done this for 7 to however many days you planned. Again, this has to be done in advance. You're going to take your incantation with your spell, and you're going to take your paper with your incantation on it to cap the spell off. And you're going to put it in here. And it's got to burn all the way. Now, sometimes you have to help it. Because sometimes you don't put enough flammable stuff in there and it goes out on you. However, this does do the job. We've used this for, I feel like 3 times, but it might have been 2. For sure 2. And we've had success. Now, did it start raining the day we left? Torrentially? Yes. It did. But if you plan right, you can take this with you. And you can do this like in reverse. I wouldn't do that. I feel like it's playing with the weather too much. But people that work weather magic more than us, everybody's got their own opinions. So now it's almost over. We should have been doing this the entire time. This is a mock-up. I'm not moving anything out of the way today. And let me tell you, this pendulum likes to swirl. I mean, I'm like the barest of touching it, and it's just wanting to like wing. But that is your Sunseeker spell. It's simple, it's easy. You don't need a lot to do it, which I love. Especially if you're balling on a budget like most people right now. The less that you have to get together. That's something I'll say. I'm gonna put this out for now. Hit my book. The less you have to grab to do stuff, the more likely it is you're going to do it. So, like, this is a candle. Herbs are optional. You don't even have to do those. A pendulum, a piece of paper, a little cauldron, something that's going to be flammable, and your energy. This is more energy work than anything. It does work. You just have to plan. Like, the planning is key. So I would say if you're planning a vacation 3 months out, a month out, start watching the weather systems. Start making sure that everything is going to be in order. That way you give yourself, like, last minute, a week to prep and do this spell. And this is stuff that most people already have. You might have to go buy whatever color candle you need, but most witches already have a pendulum, some sort of cauldron, and time and energy. And that's really all it is to it. And that's about it. It's called the Sunseeker spell. I think he's going to put the incantation and the English translation in the description. Oh, and parchment. Most of us make our own. I make big batches at a time, which I thought about selling on the shop, but I'm not 100% sure of. So if you want that, let me know. But yeah, easy peasy. Just planning, time, energy, and a few basic necessities that most of us already have. Simple, simple, simple. And it works. And maybe you'll thank me later. So, I think that's it. Oh, and witch's oil, which most people use. You can use any type of anointing oil. A lot of people have, like, what's it called? I used to have it. Like a go-to, like, all-purpose anointing oil. Now I know everybody's got everything under the sun. But, yeah, that's it. Let me know what you think, and have a good day. Bye.